Y'all don't want another dark video, do you? Nah. But let's talk about this car since it's been a year and a half. Let's talk about this car. Let's talk about the good, let's talk about the bad. Let's talk about the good first. The engine's great. You got the Boxer, you got the turbo, you got the 2.0 liter, so you get the best of both worlds. You get the power, good torque, nice horsepower, and it's still pretty fuel efficient. I can fill the tank and go 400 miles before I need to fill it again. That's good. The clutch, it's fine. The transmission, I wish the transmission was a little wider. I wish first gear went a little higher. I wish second gear went a little higher. And third and fourth and fifth is fine. Sixth gear, I wish it was a little bigger so that I'm at a lower rev with sixth gear. But it's nothing to go complaining about and sending it back or anything like that. It's just, you know, just little things that'd be better for the kind of driving I do. Let's see what else. The interior. This is not a luxury vehicle, so there's road noise, as to be expected. The suspension lets you know that this is not a luxury vehicle, which I personally do not like spongy rides. That actually bothers me. I rather have a slightly firm ride. I feel this way about women too. Interior wise, you know, you got the plastic. The parts that are important, the steering wheel, the shift knob, the e-brake, the seats. These aren't the leather, these are the they say cloth, but I remember having a car with cloth and it was terrible. But these are fine. I like the way that these are made, the way they're stitched. You can slip in and out of the car without feeling like your clothing's trying to hold on to something. However, if it's cold, you will build up static electricity, so make sure you just press that. Get rid of all your static. Everything's in a good location. The air conditioning is real nice. I like the way the knobs are. I think it's kind of bad because when you turn the knob left and right, if you accidentally like, okay, I turned it enough, but you turn it a little too far, it'll act like you turned it. So it's kind of like loose in a way, where if you turn too far, it'll touch the sensor where it'll go too far over. So, you know, turning knobs is kind of a tricky thing when you're driving and maybe the road's a little shaky. But again, it's nothing to take it back and complain about. The stereo, it's not good. If you have really good sounding songs, then you'll probably never notice it. But if you have one or two songs that was badly produced and the bass is too heavy or the treble's too high or something's off, this stereo will let you know, because it has no range for those kinds of mistakes. So if you have a high ting or a too much bass going, it's gonna let you know. The speakers aren't forgiving, and if you're using like satellite radio, the display cuts short. Like it only shows like 8 or 9 or 10 characters, and it's like, I don't know what the name of the song is. You only see a little bit of it. But again, really nothing to complain about. It does a good job for what it's supposed to do. There's no play pause button, which was kind of weird, but if you press volume up while it's muted, you'll be able to pick it. On the steering wheel, press volume up. There you go. I know, right? I thought it was Seek or something, but no, it's volume up. There you go. I do want to replace the din, but I really don't know what options I have as far as everything working. I want these very nice steering wheel controls to work with whatever DIN I replace it with, and the microphone as well. So if I have to, you know, cut, splice, or remove or change some wires around or something, I'm willing to do that. So I have to look into that when I get some money for that. On to the next thing. Since we're in the interior, there's enough space for all my stuff. I have 2 speakers I normally, well, I can't say normally carry. I normally carry just one of them just so I don't have to fold down both seats. My keyboard, my stand, my seat, and all of it fits back there. The way trunks are with new cars nowadays, they aren't as deep, so bigger equipment doesn't fit in the trunk, so you have to put it in the back seat. But aside from a few scratches that were my fault because I was weak, it fits in here fine. I can fit it so that even if I drive slightly aggressive, it doesn't throw it around or anything like that. Now let's talk about something that really bothers me with this car, and it's pedal. And it's probably not just this car, it's electronic throttles. I hate them. The problem I have with electronic throttles, and especially this one, is the response of electronic throttles are not linear. And I hope manufacturers are listening to what I have to say, because this is crucial. I really don't want to have to tinker with this car anytime soon to get the throttle to do what I want it to do. Back in my day, not that old, but back in my day, throttles were connected directly to the throttle body, and when you pressed the throttle, it opened it according to how much you pressed the throttle. There was none of this, depending on the conditions you're in and what you're doing, how the throttle will respond. That is ridiculous. And I don't know whether I need to turn off traction control or something. Maybe I need to start doing that when I drive. Maybe I should try that. But sometimes I'll be in situations where I need to suddenly accelerate to get into traffic, and there's no response. I'll press it hard, I'll shift it into gear, I'll let off the clutch, and I'll whoosh, and nothing happens. Nothing happens. And I get so upset about it, because sometimes I can't go. I'm just like, oh, I'll just wait, because I could have gone just now, but no, I can't. Couldn't go. I had that issue when I was leaving the neighborhood today, getting on the road, turning left. I was like, oh, I got an opportunity, but I have to go right now. Shift. I'm in first already. I press accelerator a little bit. I let off the clutch. Press accelerator harder, because that's what I'm used to doing. I know that I press the accelerator, and then I have to press it harder, because once the clutch lets in, you have to put more pressure on the clutch in order to get it to go forward fast. Because if you do it normally, it's gonna go down. You want to go up, because you want to suddenly launch. Car's like, oh no, we're not letting you do that. I'm like, what is it doing at $2,000? I was at $4,000. Come on, I need to go. And that kind of situation is where I'm like, car, you trying to just get in your own wreck, and it's not going to be my fault, it's going to be your fault, car? Come on. So yeah, I wish the throttle body was linear. I wish when I press the throttle 1%, I got 1% throttle. And I wish when I press the throttle 50%, I got 50% throttle. And I wish when I press it 100%, which I never do, I wish I get 100% throttle. That makes sense. That's the way the throttle body should work. When you press the pedal, you get the same amount wherever you're pressing the pedal. And that's how the throttle body should open. This electronic throttle body thing is frustrating. So if anyone has a quick, easy solution that doesn't involve me spending $500 on a passport engine tuning, let me know. And especially if people drive without the traction control off, let me know if that works too, because, you know, if I gotta press traction control every time I get in the car, I'll do it. Now that I've complained about that, when the throttle's working the way I want it to, I get this beautiful launch, and it's great, and I beat cars, and it's wonderful. And it's fast, and you can feel the power, and it's great. Alright. Now that I complained about that, I really only have good things to say about this car. Visibility is fantastic. I can see everything. I hardly have to turn around. I really don't technically have to turn around or turn to my sides when I go in reverse. The reverse is pretty good. It works really well even at night. I have good visibility. Steering is great. I find there's no need to do anything to the steering. It responds really well. When you turn left, you turn left. When you turn right, it's really good. I can only imagine that it gets better with the STI, but it's fine. I feel it. I guess there isn't much in the steering response area, but like, what do I need steering response for when you can feel the road? That's another thing that I like about this car. It's fun, and people underestimate it. They think, oh, it's a little red car. It looks like a Corolla. No. Nah. And that wonderful smell of turbo. Yeah. The turbo's way down there, and so is the wastegate. And so the only way you're going to hear it is if the right window's down. Maybe the left, maybe. But if the right window's not down, you're not going to hear the boost unless you do some modifications, which not right now. This is my daily driver. Alright, so back to this review. So we talked about throttle body, we talked about gears, we talked about the radio, we talked about the interior, we talked about the front lights. I've swapped out all the lights. At the moment I need to re-swap the high beams again. I have to come up with a solution that works with the high beams so that they don't go out like the low beams and the previous high beams did, which I have, so I just need to wait until I have a little money for that. The lights look pretty good, but when you've seen the LED model, you're like, oh, I want that. And they have a solution now that costs around $240, and it gives you the look of the LED model with a nice black, instead of a shiny black, it'll be a matte black housing for the inside. And I look at that and I think, ooh, I can paint that to match the car. That would look really interesting. So if I keep this car and don't trade it for a different LED model, I'll do that. But I've changed the interior lights, the two map lights, and the main one, which the main one is in a different spot in the LED model. I've changed the license plate light to a different color as well with the LED white. I've changed the parking lights and the reverse lights, and that's it. I've left the signal lights plain amber that comes with the car. I changed the amber ones in the front, but you really can't see the difference by much. I've also, what have I done? At the moment I got two different sets of low beam lights. One's the all-in-one that I had before that I liked, and then one's a separated one that has the ballast and you've seen the video. It's part 1 and part 3, so you can check that video out. It's there, so you can get a good look at them. So right now the left one is one and the right one's a different one, and the left's a little slightly brighter than the right one, but you can't really tell, or maybe you can, I don't know. You basically have to upgrade the low beams because they're not bright at all, and I really wish they did not make a base model or premium model that didn't have the LED. It should have just came with the LED. I don't know how much it would have cost more for them to do that, but it would have just been better if all of it was LED. Finally, things I like. I also like what the brake light does at the top. It does the little triple flash before it sustains its flash. And if you happen to get the brake light that goes at the bottom and have that installed, it'll do the same thing down there. So I just think that's a really cool safety feature. Also wish the DRLs were not the high beams on any car in existence. I wish they were all either low beams or something else. Something else would be nice. But I do like the DRL safety feature. It is definitely something I noticed that people see and catch on to. If I gave it a score between 1 and 10, 1 being I absolutely hate it, and 10 being I love it, I love it, I would give it a 9. No, wait, I'd give it an 8. It would get a 9 if I didn't have to replace the low beams and if the electronic throttle body was better, or the pedal anyway was better. And it would get a perfect 10 if they put sound dampening material in the window or the doors and such. That's something I'd like to do in the future with this car. So it's an 8, but it's one of those cars that if you really like it, you can make it a 10 with ease. You can get it at 10. Oh, another thing, the ride height. There are some places I go that when I come out of, that big old plate at the bottom scrapes, and I remember the first few times it happened, it really scared me. I was like, oh God, what did I do to the car? No. But I looked at the bottom and I see that plate, I'm like, oh, that was that noise. And so the next time I did that, I was like, yeah, that plate's strong, yeah. So just be aware that plate's down there and it gets the job done. I like the Subaru community, especially the turbocharged WRX owners and BRZs and such. There are car communities that are, active and they do things, but I feel like the Subaru community is the only one that's equally mature all around. Where you can have 18-year-olds all the way up to, I guess, around 40, maybe 50, maybe. And if they own a WRX or any such thing, if they own a WRX, chances are they're mature in some way. They're not, running around revving all the time and trying to do, well, I mean, they're all-wheel drive, so they're not trying to do burnouts or anything like that, right? And showing out and stuff like that. I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's just my area. They're real mature. And a good group of people, So, Subaru WRX. If you don't have back problems and enjoy vehicles that have good handling, what else? Good handling, a little noisy, good visibility, ride height, all-wheel drive, and questionable styling aesthetics, if you're into those kinds of things when it comes to cars, then look into this car. You know, it's a good compromise for a family sedan. You know, oh wait, no, I'm gonna turn there. It's not a perfect vehicle, but you know, if you're like, well, I kind of want a family sedan, but then I still want to have, you know, all the power and stuff and silliness and high beams, but yeah, I wouldn't turn this car down. It's definitely a go-to if you can afford this. So I gotta go. I will see y'all later, and this is gonna make an interesting video to edit.